And welcome to High Point Regional High School here in Wanner's, New Jersey, as Brian Thomas Basketball presents high school boys basketball. It's an NJAC Colonial Division battle as the host High Point Wildcats come in a record of 5-3, 3-0 on top of the division for their veteran head coach and former High Point player Jesse Strell as they take on their rivals from down the road at Kittatinny as they come in a record of 2-6, 1-2 in the division under their head coach Mike Lupo starting his second stint with the Cougars. Mike was a longtime coach here years ago, also coached at Wallkill and Mount Olive. He's back coaching the Cougars, and he couldn't be happier. I'm Dan Cleary. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to bring in the aforementioned Brian Thomas. Brian, a lot going on tonight. Let everyone know what's going on.
Yeah, Dan, always good to be back with you. I don't think we've been together since last February or March, so always a good reuniting of you and I, and very excited to be here tonight. Got a couple people that are sponsoring the game tonight. Please check out Unique Concrete. It's a decorative concrete company specializing in stamped concrete and has been serving northern New Jersey and lower Hudson Valley since 1980. Unique Concrete's unique stamping process creates a more realistic surface than any other stamped concrete. Unique Concrete offers stamped concrete, pulled decks, sidewalks and patios, fire features, outdoor kitchens, and much more. Check out their website at uniqueconcretenewjersey.com. You can check them out on Facebook as well. Also sponsored by Dolan & Dolan Law Firm, located in Newton, New Jersey, a firm with more than 100 years of experience in successfully handling your legal issues. Roger Thomas, with decades of experience as a certified workers' compensation attorney who has successfully handled thousands of cases for injured workers. Let his experience work for you. Call 973-383-1600. Big shout out to Chris Dexter and everyone, all the administrators here at High Point High School. This is also doubling as a fundraiser for Brandon's House. Please check out Brandon's House on Facebook. Chris Dexter and the administration very generous to donate all ticket sales tonight to Brandon's House. And in fact, Brandon is actually in the house
Brandon
tonight.
Bork, Kittatinny's #1 fan.
Without a doubt. We'll be talking to him after the game. Excited to be here, Dan.
Yes, there should be a good game. Always a good battle between these two. Let's talk about Kittatinny. Mike Lupo back, his second stint. One thing you know about a Mike Lupo team, they're going to play hard. They're going to play defense. Talk about the Cougars.
Yeah, without a doubt. They're off to a pretty good start. You know, they got a couple bumps in the road early on. They got a couple players. Brady Strong, Hunter T-Ball are off to really good starts. Very good leaders, senior captains. And like you said, they're going to defend. They're going to come out with a lot of energy. So I expect big things out of them tonight.
Their starting lineup tonight will be #1, Brady Strong. He averages 3 points a game. Number 10, Joe Allison. Number 12, Jesse Waldron, 7.7 points, 4.1 rebounds. Hunter Tebow, the aforementioned Hunter Tebow, 23. He scores 13 points a game, 8 boards. He's their best perimeter guy, 13 three-pointers. And then the big guy, Connor Logan, 24, 10 points, 6.7 rebounds. Talk about him. He's a presence. He's a big kid.
Without a doubt. And he's got a little bit of inside-outside game. He's able to hit that 15 to 18-footer, but where he does the majority of his damage as a big kid is down on the block. So if he can establish himself down there, he could be a real force.
And the High Point Wildcats, 5-3, 3-0 in the Colonial Division, coming off a tough loss to Newton the other night. But they're on top of the division right now. And we'll give you their starters. Slade Muller, number 1. He's been averaging 3 points a game. Number 2, Jacob Junta, 9 points a game, 3 rebounds. He's got 9 threes. Noah Riley, number 4. He's got 11.3 points a game, 16 threes. And then Braden Franco, we know that name.
Yes,
it's been a long-time name here at High Point, number 21, 14 points a game. He's got 24 threes, 5 rebounds. And Colin Tennant, number 22, 4 points a game, 4 rebounds a game. And Kyle Morsel comes off the bench, number 23, with 8.3 points a game. This is a team that likes to shoot for the perimeter. They got 63 threes. That's one thing Kittatinny's going to talk about this High Point team.
Yeah, they can get hot quickly, so they got to get out to the three-point line to guard all of those guys, and we'll come back right after the anthem.
Got the anthem in the books, and BT, just finish your thoughts on this High Point team. Jesse Stroh, longtime coach, Billy Percy, who's now the head football coach, back for his second stint as his assistant, and that's who Jesse replaced.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, they do like to shoot it from three, and they can get hot really quick. You know, Braden Franco can really light it up quickly, as can Noah Riley. There's no doubt about that, and they got to make sure that they're defending and getting great shots, and if they can do that, they could be in good shape tonight.
Speaking of good shape, a win tonight for High Point will put them at 4-0 in the division. Everyone else kind of beating each other up. You have Sussex Tech, North Warren, Kittatinny, and Morris Tech and Opakon all beating each other. So it's an interesting division that, you know, even though it's only the second week of January, a win here for High Point really puts them in the driver's seat.
Yeah, without a doubt. They had a couple bumps over the last handful of games, and I think they're going to be really excited to try to right that ship tonight and kind of really get a stranglehold on this league.
So we'll have the opening tip would be Logan for Kittatinny. They're in the visiting white. High Point in their home gray uniforms are underway here at High Point High School. So Colonial Division battle. High Point coming off that tough loss to Newton. They did pretty well at that Ranger tournament, split their game.
Right.
Lost the wall kill, beat Morris Hills. Short jumper in the paint, no good. Put back, and that'll be out of bounds, High Point ball.
And of course now, Dan, we got to deal with the new uniform change. So the whites are always going to be the away, and,
yes,
and the darks are going to be the home, which is always messes with your eyes at first.
Yes, indeed. And then also the common fouls,
right,
5 a quarter now.
Right.
That kind of changes things up. I kind of like it. What are your thoughts?
I don't. Well, I think the first. So what I've seen so far, the first 3 quarters, it's fine. But where it becomes tricky, and we'll see if this bears out tonight, is down the stretch of a game.
And driving to the basket and getting the first hoop is Jacob Junta.
You know, it takes a little bit of pressure off of that free throw shooter if you don't have to do 1-and-1 with 90 seconds left and you're down by 1. It alleviates some of that and takes, I think, a little bit of drama out of the last couple minutes. But we'll see how it goes.
Foul's going to be on number 4 for High Point, and that's would be Noah Riley, who's had a very good year. We talked 11 points a game, terrific three-point shooter as well. They work it inside to the big man. Bounces in, powers up, strong, can't get it to go. And when I see a big guy for Kittatinny, it just, my mind goes back to big old John Joe Mason.
That's right.
Oh, he was a specimen.
Sure was.
And that will be just a 2, a long jumper for Jacob Junta, so he has all 4 points. Did they call that a 2 or a 3?
It gave him 5, so it looks like a 3.
I thought the official put it up, but
it looks like they're changing it, Dan. I think they're going to go back to 4.
It's absolutely a 2. Coach Lupo replacing Pat McCarney, who did amazing things with the Kittatinny program.
Without a doubt.
No good. He's now coaching the Montville girls. Up and under, and a nice job there, getting the first basket of the night for the Cougars is Hunter Tebow, their leading scorer.
Tebow's going to have a big game tonight. I mean, he's going to have to carry a lot of the offensive load as they go along here, and he's capable of doing that.
Coach McCarney led them to their first ever. And another 3. We talked about those 3s, and he knocks it down.
And we talked about some of those guys that can do it between Jacob and Braden and Noah. They can get hot quick, and we're seeing that early.
7-2. Brady Strong gives it up. No good. Strong rebound ripped down by the Wildcats. Braden Franco on the run out and laid it in. Slade Muller, and we're going to get a timeout called by Mike Lupo. A good timeout called by Coach Lupo, as it's now a 7-point lead, 9-2. But just finishing what McCarney did with this program, a program that had spurts of good years, but never consistently a top tier team. But he did that with the Colonial Division. They won their first division ever in boys basketball. They were always good in girls basketball. In 2019, they won the Colonial. It was their first winning season since 2006. And then he kept building. They won another shared title in 2021. So he really built a good foundation for Coach Lupo to come back in for his second stint.
Yeah, for sure. And Lupo's coming back into a nice spot here. He's got kids that have been around. I think what they're doing is they're just playing basketball more.
Right.
They're not traditionally known as a basketball school, but the more these kids play in the offseason, and a lot of his kids have been able to do that, and it's certainly bearing fruit so far.
All right, now, as Brian mentioned, High Point's perimeter shooting. That was something Coach Lupo said. He goes, we got to defend the perimeter. It's going to be a long night. So a good timeout there by Coach Lupo.
And you got to guard all the way out to that three-point line and beyond. You can't just give them wide open shots.
And there's a nice job of breaking the pressure defense by the Cougars. The big man, Logan, with the basket. So out of that timeout, Coach Jesse Strell gave a little three-quarters look.
Yes, he did. It was a little bit of a 2-2-1 full court press. It was, well, like you said, three quarters, and Kittatinny did a nice job just slicing and dicing.
So going to the line for the Wildcats, Noah Riley. And Brandon Bork, not a bigger Kittatinny fan around, so it's a great thing that they're raising money for him tonight. Joe Fitzpatrick, he's the voice of the home football games. He's also a very good basketball official, leading the charge to help out Brandon, to help him with his home, get it refurbished, which is good stuff.
And now High Point going into a straight man-to-man full court press.
And then will work. Little collision. We'll see some of that tomorrow night when High Point and Kittatinny wrestle. Step back three, knocking it down. And that's Noah Riley.
As we discussed, I mean, we're not even halfway through this first quarter, and they already have 3 threes.
And it looks like High Point said, I'll get a 3, we'll give you a 2.
That's right. That's right. That math is going to work in their favor.
On the layup, it's Jesse Waldron. The big man, Connor Logan, with the rebound.
And that's the other thing that Kittatinny is going to have to do, is they're going to have to limit him to one shot and one shot only, especially if there's going to be long rebounds.
Logan trying to look inside, read perfectly by the High Point defense. Good work there by Braden Foco on the run out and laying it in. It's Slade Muller.
High Point doing a nice job, not only shooting the basketball, but getting out and running. That's their second quick fast break bucket that they've gotten.
Big man driving his way in, up, can't get the go, tapped away. Great job of tapping that rebound away by Franco.
Now, Logan's been able to get some good shots so far.
Jutta can't finish, Logan gets the rebound. Just the junior, he's going to grow into that body.
Yeah, for sure. But he's using it well today. He's planting himself on that post, taking a couple dribbles, as you can see again here.
He's in there, gets in deep, goes up strong.
Coach Strell, I think, may want a 3-second call. And Colin Tent's got his hands certainly full today, but Colin's a big kid and he's strong and he's going to be able to do some things. Connor's got to keep using his body.
Left alone for another 3 and knocking it down is Slade Muller.
Boy, we weren't kidding about shooting the lights out, huh?
Absolutely, a 10-point advantage for the homestanding Wildcats. 3 minutes to go, first quarter. I wonder if, I don't remember seeing Logan on the football roster. Joe Catelli could use a big dude like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, who couldn't, right?
Exactly. I like his vision out there. He's been making pretty good decisions. Left alone. And we have a foul on the rebound. We have former Vernon star player there, Pat Dunnigan, working the game. I just noticed him refereeing. Tim Dunnigan, his dad, longtime administrator at Vernon High School and well known in the gym leagues.
Yes.
Tim played forever, was a great player at Waldwick High School. So 18-8 our score. Cougars down by 10. High Point with the ball. We approach 2:30 to go. Left alone, foul line jumper, knocking it down is Kyle Marshall, who's just checked in. We talked about him being instant offense coming off the bench.
Yeah, no doubt, and I think they've only missed 1 or 2 jump shots so far.
Trying to match with a 3, back rim. Good rebound by Kyle Morsel, the junior, 8 points a game, 4 rebounds. That's great having that coming off the bench. Little pull-up jumper, knocking it down to Slade Muller. We're gonna have another timeout.
And another great call on the timeout. I mean, they've got to find a way to stop this deluge of jump shots. They got to get up and get a hand in their face, because they're 50% there. But against a team like this that can shoot it really well, you got to get all the way out. And so far, Kittatinny has not been able to do that.
So Mike Lupo having to use 2 timeouts in the first quarter. See if that bodes not well for the Cougars later on. But what, Brian, your thoughts on this division? High Point right now, what we talked about, driver's seat if they win.
Right.
But the other teams, it's a dogfight every time. Sussex Tech, North Warren, Kittatinny, Morris Tech, and Opakon. and they've proven it because they're all Sussex Tech's second at a 2-1 record.
Right.
Everyone else is 1-2.
And there's such a long way to go. Of course, these next couple of weeks are going to determine a lot to see if High Point can create some distance, see if Sussex Tech can get kind of a stranglehold on that number 2 spot. And I think Sussex Tech is a very underrated team. They have a lot of talent over there with Coach Carbone, and if they can play to their potential, I think they could for sure be the second best team in this division. Justin
Heitman, Will White, and Brian Gruber, who started the season banged up because he got hurt during football. What a football season he had. But yeah, you're talking about they're a solid club. But right now, High Point, which normally has competed in the Freedom Division with the Newtons, the Jeffersons,
right,
the Hackensack in the Colonial, and that's the goal of Jesse Strell, is that, win this division, then get back in playing with those other schools.
Yep, and Coach Strell has scheduled a number of difficult independent games as well to try to balance that and offset that.
Swing it over to the corner for 3, no good. And we'll have a loose ball, and it will be High Point's ball with 1:47 to go here in the first quarter. Get all the proceeds tonight going to Brandon's house. Brandon Bork, if you know anything about Kittatinny or Sussex County sports in general, if you've attended a Kittatinny game, he's their #1 fan. He's sitting down there in the front row, and everything will be going towards proceeds to help him get his house refurbished. And Joe Fitzpatrick and the gang over at Kittatinny, hats off to them for helping out their #1 guy. Little elbow jumper by the big man, a little strong, good rebound pulled down by Kyle Willis, who's checked in number 32. Junta will bring it up for the Wildcats, 1:15 to go. Good ball movement here. Making that defense move. Good look inside, and the foul. Willis will go to the line to shoot 2.
That's an underrated part of Braden Franco's game. Everybody knows him as a shooter, and boy, can he shoot it. Pretty incredibly high level, but if he's able to, because teams have to come out and guard him, and if he has a little bit of a shot fake, which he has done, and then gets to the basket, the teams are going to collapse, and he's going to have guys wide open underneath for the basket. He's really done a much better job of adding that to his game in the offseason.
Well, when he takes free throws at this end of the floor, he can look right at that banner with his brother's name with
right.
1,000 points there. 1 or 2 from the line.
And Brendan did it at 1,122 points I'm seeing right here, but he also did that. His senior year was the COVID year. We only had 15 games. I mean, he would have ended up at 1,400 points.
Shannon Sweeney, the all-time leading scorer here at High Point with 1,300 plus, went on to play at Rutgers Newark and professionally. And his daughter Allie playing at Richmond right now. Foul. Matt Sweeney was on the championship team in '95, won that SEIL. As we always joke, as you always tell those guys, they had to wait for Brian Thomas to graduate from Sparta first for them to win a league.
Yeah, we kind of had the early '90s on lockdown, and then it was High Point's turn for a little bit. But those were some fun battles.
Knocking down the first free throw, Brady Strong.
And this is good for Kittatinny. This is their first couple of free throws. They got to find ways to score, and getting to the foul line is going to help that.
High Point's offense has been go, go, go tonight. They've shot extremely well here in the first 8. They work it inside, and another 1 and 1. Going up strong, Kyle Willis, twice for him.
And Willis is a kid that is pretty new to the game of basketball, believe it or not. But if you look at his body, I mean, he's a long, tall, athletic kid who obviously is going to be able to help this High Point Wildcat team. And he's just going to get better as the season goes on, learning from his mistakes and building on his successes.
26-9 lead, 40 seconds to go in the quarter.
Let's see if Kittatinny can get a good shot here and not rush, try to be patient, which is hard when you're down 17.
Right. Swinging around, big man's going to walk.
It's a right idea, though. He had a little shot fake, and he ended up getting to the basket with a quick one dribble. He just dragged that back pivot foot just a little bit.
Coach Jesse Strell asking for one shot. So everything Coach Jesse Strell wanted to happen has happened, and everything Mike Lupo didn't want to happen has happened. So we'll see if Kittatinny can change course in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's been a perfect recipe so far for High Point. Nice job by High Point being disciplined.
Swinging the ball around. 3 seconds, he's going to have to put it up. Loses the handle, gets it back. And before the buzzer, a good defensive play by Kittatinny, stopping a possible easy layup. Good hands there by Jesse Waldron. So 1 quarter in the books here on a big night, Brandon night, as they're going to raise money for Brandon Bork. But a big night for High Point basketball. The Colonial Division, they have a 20-6-9 lead. We'll be back with second quarter action here on the Brian Thomas YouTube channel. All right, we're back here live on Brian Thomas YouTube channel. Dan Cleary along with Brian Thomas, brought to you by BT Basketball. Second quarter action. First quarter, all High Point. They have a 26-9 lead. And Brian, you got a little paperwork you got to take care of, little thank yous?
Yeah, definitely. But I'll notice first here that Kittatinny's coming out in a zone. It looks like a little, almost like a little 2-1-2. But the problem is, when you're in a zone, you have to find a way to rebound the basketball, because most of your guys are down in the paint anyway. So if they're not going to be able to rebound, they're going to have to go back to that man-to-man immediately.
And there's another steal. Colin Marshall's been instant offense, and he'll draw the foul. And that's going to be another story here. A lot of fouls here early on against the Cougars.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Kittatinny's, again, if they're going to stay in that zone, they have to make sure that they box out and rebound, because otherwise they're going to go right back to that man, and that's what High Point's been really, really good at going against so far.
Joe Allison picked up the foul. Morsel hit the first one, checking in for Kittatinny, Michael Strong.
Let's see if High Point, Kyle makes this shot, if they continue to press. Looks like they're going to go ahead and get back and go just straight half-court man-to-man, which has worked out very well so far for them.
So Morsel been very effective off the bench. And High Point defensively has done a nice job on Tebow.
They've done an excellent job. They're doing a good job denying him the basketball, and then they're doing a really good job of keeping him in front when he is able to catch the ball.
Good thought, but it goes out of bounds. Turnover.
And as you can see, Dan, to your point on that last play, Slade Muller was denying him the basketball, which really led to that decision that turned the ball over.
And checking in for High Point will be A.J. Hamilton.
A.J., another young, athletic kid that High Point can go to give a little bit of instant offense as well.
And we're going to have a walk turnover. Kittatinny will get it back, trailing 30-9.
– 30 points in, not even 10, 11 minutes. That's pretty impressive by High Point so far.
It certainly is. On the pick and roll, the big man can't get it to go, gets his own miss, and one. So a much-needed hoop there for Logan and the Cougars.
Yeah, and again, Connor's done a great job so far of establishing his presence in the paint, and he's only taken that one outside jump shot, which is going to be to his benefit. And then, of course, to his credit, after that missed bunny, going after that rebound and fouling it up right away.
Jesse Strell played for the great Charlie Kyer here at High Point. And on the miss, I thought that went over the backboard, but
I thought
it didn't.
so too.
We'll have a foul, and again, that's the story, the secondary story or tertiary stories. The fouls are being picked up by Kittatinny. Second of the second quarter.
So you said you like the new five foul rule. Why do you think?
Well, you know what? To your point about if you're up and you do the one-on-one, it's almost like you're being punished for having the lead if you don't have great free throw shooters. And I know it's part of the game. I get it.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, you got yourself in a hole. You're not going to be rewarded because some guy can't hit one of two.
That's a fair point. Dan Cleary always coming with the wisdom.
And there's the big man going glass.
And a nice job there by Connor of just taking a quick dribble, drop step, and finishing, not taking too much time and allowing the defense to adjust. And Kinnitini's in his 1-2-2 once again, which seems to be slowing down High Point just a little bit. But these guys do not need a lot of space to get that shot off.
No, they do not. They got a quick trigger. And a nice drive. And boy, impressive Kyle Morsel off the bench, instant offense.
Yeah, he's having a great game so far, and that's how you beat a zone. You look to attack those gaps.
It doesn't always have to be from behind the stripe. Taking it strong to the basket, no good. Put back, can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by High Point, Colin Tennant. And that'll be foul on the floor. So did I change your mind, or you're just being nice to me about the foul situation?
No, I totally understand what you're saying. And again, I think the first 3 quarters, it's great. But again, and the first game that of the season, it was the Vernon and Hackettstown. It came out, and I think it was Hackettstown was down 1, and they had a 1-and-1, and he missed. Great job by Jacob there, and he missed the first one, and it would have gone into the hands of Vernon. And instead, he gets a second one and makes the second one to tie the game. So it just changes the dynamic a little bit in the last, say, 3 or 4 minutes.
Absolutely. I get that we'll have a travel. But again, to my point, Vernon was up 17 in that game.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, no doubt about that. Yeah, it didn't come down to that for sure.
Right. Yes, free throw shooting is a big part of the game. I get that. And nice take with the little drive to the basket is Braden Franco.
Good patience there by Franco.
Continue, nice look inside. They work it back out. Foul line jumper off the glass. Logan with the basket.
What time is it? 7:25. I guess bank's still open, right?
Exactly right. Got one of those 24-hour ATMs.
Connor's got that high arcer. Nice job of High Point moving the basketball, shifting the zone around.
Love travel. So, Brian, we're in the second week of January. Your thoughts on the Sussex County basketball thus far? Anything that's surprising you? Anything jump out at you?
Well, I mean, certainly impressed with the Vernon Viking boys. I mean, and we knew they were going to be an excellent team, and they got off to a bumpy start. But they have begun to find their way and really start to play well, which is not at all surprising. I think
drive there.
Excellent job. I think Walk Hill has actually been a nice surprise after losing their best player, Ryan Genie, to a torn ACL back in September. People thought, oh, they're just, they're going to win 2 or 3 games, and they've been fighting, and they've got some good wins, even against this High Point team. So those are a couple teams that stand out so far early in the season.
Well, I remember last year in a long jumper, no good, when everyone said Walk Hill's going to do nothing with Chris Ross not playing.
Right.
Not only did they got off to a real tough start.
They did.
Came back, won a couple state games.
Yes, they did.
Foul down low.
And it's funny because a lot of that was due. I mean, they have some good players, but Ryan Genie had a great sophomore year. So then losing him,
yes,
they're like, okay, we've got to do this again. We lost our best player,
but they've been there.
And you know what? Yeah, they've really kind of figured it out, and they're not exactly where they want to be perfectly. But what team is at this point in the year?
Foul will be on Willis. His first, team second. Logan will go to the line.
Dan, we want to thank Unique Concrete. It's a decorative concrete company specializing in stamped concrete. It's been serving northern New Jersey and the lower Hudson Valley since 1980. Unique Concrete's unique stamping process creates a more realistic surface than any other stamped concrete. Unique Concrete offers stamped concrete pool decks, sidewalks and patios, fire features, outdoor kitchens, and much more. Check them out at uniqueconcretenewjersey.com.
Behind the arc after a scramble, High Point owning the offensive boards, and another foul, and an almost an N1 situation for Mr. Kyle Willis.
Yeah, they're going to make sure they're finding bodies. You tell young players all the time, especially if they're guards, that if you're just going to put your arms up and try to jump against bigger players, guess what? It's not going to work. You got to find their body first and try to move them out.
And that's Hunter Tebow's third foul. So decision time here for Coach Lupo. I think you got to sit him, even though you're down big.
Yeah.
You don't want to foul him out before the game. The
Totally
half
agree.
ends.
Totally agree. Good call by Coach Lupo and by Dan Cleary.
Well, I was following what Lupo did. So Willis will hit the first. He'll knock down both. 38-17 our score. Dumps it off into the big man. No good. Rebound pulled down by Slade Muller. He's very active, Slade.
He's had a great game on both ends of the floor so far this evening.
They left Junta alone. Can he make him pay? No. And we'll beat Kittatinny ball with 2:47 to go here in the first half. All High Point Wildcats. And they've shortened up the seasons, the
Right.
State Athletic Association, but you're playing the same amount of games, so these guys are playing a lot of hoop in a short amount of time.
Which also limits their practice time,
Yes.
which I know coaches don't like, of course, because you're doing a little bit more on the fly. But you know what? Coaches will figure it out. Players will figure it out.
Another long jumper for three, and knocking it down for the High Point Wildcats is Franco.
Yeah, you certainly cannot give him that amount of space. I mean, you might be looking and say, there was a hand up, but it was not close enough.
Again, High Point shooting extremely well, but they're also playing tremendous defense.
They really are.
Logan forces it up, rebound pulled down by Kyle Willis.
Nice job of Franco getting down there and raking at that ball.
Junta with the take.
And that's extra impressive because he's a lefty and he's coming up with his right hand to finish that one.
And another steal there. Franco with the good hands. And that was not deflected, or was it? Nope, it was. No, it wasn't. So we'll have a turnover. Thought maybe someone got a hand on it. Cougars will walk it up. Joe Allison with a minute 30 to go here in the first half. Inside, looking for the big man on the roll, but there's Slade Muller again, very active. Kittatinny to inbound. We were talking about those Kittatinny teams from a couple years back. The Plath kid, he was a real good player. Nice look inside, but a steal and a turnover. Hunter Rossi, Josh Doobie,
Right.
Dylan Modafferi, Tanner Rossi. That was a real good run Coach McCartney and the Cougars put together.
A lot of good athletes.
Yes. Good hands. Stay here with the Cougars. Short jumper for the big man. Trying to go glass again. No good. Battle for the board. And coming up with his High Point's A.J. Hamilton. And again, High Point, when they had the opportunity, they will run. Junta with a little shake and bake inside. Beautifully done.
Gorgeous. He's so shifty. And his passing ability is excellent, and so is his vision to match.
50 seconds to go. All right, time to pull out the score sheet here, Coach Thomas, to see how many points. All right, they scored 78 against Sussex Tech, so that'd be a lot. They also scored 71 against Hopakon. But in win over Lenape Valley, 43. So
yeah. They've had some big scoring nights, and they're certainly doing it again here.
And we'll have a foul with 30 seconds to go on the floor. Be only the fourth foul on High Point. Kyle Morsel will check back in, number 23. Picking up the foul, his second will be Slade Muller. Logan using the big body, no good. Good defense by Willis, not drawing a foul. 23 seconds to go. Junta smartly gives it up. And good basketball right there by High Point, not forcing it, being smart. Junta putting on a little show. 6 seconds to go. Turnaround jumper in the paint, can't get it to go. Logan trying to get the board, saved. And the buzzer will sound, so one half of the books. Here in a big Colonial Division game, but also a fundraiser game for Brandon Bork, Brandon's House fundraiser. So all the proceeds tonight, you can go to their website, as Brian Thomas pointed out. If you want to help out Brandon and his family, that'd be a great thing. It's been all High Point here in the first half. 45-17. We'll be back with third quarter action here on the Brian Thomas Basketball Network right after this. All right, we're back here at High Point High School in lovely Waters, New Jersey on Brian Thomas Basketball YouTube channel. I'm Dan Clear along with Brian Thomas of BT Basketball. And a big lead for High Point, 45-17. And I'm bringing my partner, Brian. Brian?
Yeah, Dan, I'm excited about that first half. I mean, High Point kind of went nuts early on and really took a stranglehold on that game. Quick minute, I'd like to thank Dolan & Dolan Law Firm located in Newton, New Jersey. They're a firm with more than 100 years of experience in successfully handling your legal issues. Roger Thomas, with decades of experience, is a certified workers' compensation attorney who has successfully handled thousands of cases for injured workers. Let his experience work for you. Call 973-383-1600. Roger Thomas also happens to be my dad.
Yes, indeed.
Shout out to the Pops.
Absolutely. Went to all your games and your brother's games. It was a fixture at Sparta High School.
Yep, give him a call. He's the man. And if you don't believe me, just ask him. He'll tell you.
And also a fundraiser tonight, too.
Without a doubt, yeah. We're very excited that Brandon is actually here in the house.
With Joe Fitzpatrick, who led the charge, amongst others.
Without a doubt. And I got to give a shout-out to Jesse Strell as well. When we were talking about doing this game, he brought this to my attention so we can make this happen. So thanks so much to Jesse for planting the seed so this could work out tonight.
So all the proceeds from tonight will go to Brandon's house. And Joe Fitz also not only the voice of the football team on the PA games on Saturdays, is also a very good basketball official.
Yes. And you don't say that very often, do you?
Yeah, I'll say it about Joe Fitz. He's
That's
the man.
Right.
Well, we got a couple of good ones working tonight, including Pat Dunnigan. Pat was the interim head coach at Randolph for a short time.
Yes, he was.
Maybe Hoops.
Maybe about a decade ago or so.
Yeah, and I think he played at Orange County Community up in Middletown.
He was a good player, real good player.
Absolutely, played for Matt Ferguson at Vernon High School. All right, we're underway. So, obviously, you can't do it all in a couple of minutes, but what's Kittatinny need to do to scratch back into this and make it a little sweaty?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they only scored 17 points in the first half. So first and foremost, they're going to have to find a way to put the ball in the basket, whether it's attacking the basket. They haven't had a lot of clean looks from three, as you just saw here. High Point's doing a great job of contesting those threes. So they got to find a way to look to continue to attack, which may then open up the three-point line for them. And, of course, they have to be able to get out to the three-point shooters of the High Point Wildcats.
Working inside. Logan's been a bright spot.
He has.
No power up, can't get the go. Offensive board pulled down by the Cougars. They'll keep the possession. Good job by Jesse Waldron. Another offensive board, and that finally drops in for the big man.
And Connor's missed some layups tonight, but I think there's a silver lining because he's doing a great job. He's taking a couple free throw jump shots, but he's mostly attacking the basket and using his size to his advantage, which is exactly what he needs to be doing.
Little runner, no good. Rebound, and it will stay here with the Wildcats. And I like early on here in this third quarter, High Point not settling for the threes. They were so on fire.
Yes.
Good basketball, good coach. Jesse Strell with his assistants Travis Talamay and the great Bill Percy. Junta with the three, no good. Loose ball into the basket, Kittatinny will come up with it. Travis was a great athlete here, football and baskets.
Oh, for sure.
And drawing the foul and taking a shot going to the floor was Noah Riley on a screen. High Point fans looking for a foul, not going to get it.
Kittatinny's going to stay in that 1-2-2 zone. Try to slow things down a little bit, but they got to get out the shooters, as we spoke about.
Well, that's what you do if you're Riley. You get flattened, you come back and hit a three.
Yeah, it's a nice response from Noah.
Last year, High Point went 12-12. Beat Newton in the HWS as Logan scores. Before losing to Hunter and Central. They split with Kittatinny last year.
I think the one thing that helps them, Dan, this year is that last year they had a lot of athletes playing basketball.
Max Miller being a terrific player.
Yeah, great athletes. But this year they have more basketball-centric players who play a lot more in the offseason. I think that's going to I think they're gonna benefit from that as the season goes on.
On the steal, Muller takes it all the way, can't get to go. Junta with the rebound, swings it back out. Left alone, Riley can't get it to go. Rebound, Logan. They also graduated Aiden Mitchell, who was a terrific baseball player,
Yes.
basketball player, and Jonah Ripley, who was a terrific football player. So that's to your point. Those guys were multiple sport stars.
Right, and basketball wasn't their main sport for any of them.
Right. Max was a great soccer player.
Yeah, which happens with a lot of kids in high school, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But if you can get basketball first players, of course, you'd prefer that. But they all had great years last year.
But I always encourage kids, play as many sports as you can.
Yes.
I always tell the story. Now, it's been so long, kids don't know who he is. A long jumper, no good. Joe Martinick,
Right.
Arguably maybe the best athlete to come out of Sussex County. His senior year, after he locked up a scholarship at Rutgers for football, and picked the pocket, Riley, and up and under, draws the foul. He'll go to the line. Joe Martinick, senior year, he came out and played basketball because he wanted to play with his friends. His senior year, he was a terrific track athlete, and he always said that was the best decision he ever made. And Shiano did not say anything about it. He said, no, go play hoops. Because, folks, the honest truth, people don't want to hear it. Most of these kids are not going to the NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball. So play as many sports as you can and have fun.
Yeah, create a lot of memories, and you look back, and that's where a lot of your initial kind of long-term relationships start and stem from. So, yeah, I second that.
And, again, use sports to help you with education. Don't use it to supply your education.
Right.
Make sure you get good grades. I know I sound like an old guy. Do well in school, but it is the truth. And we just saw a guy that's being very successful. And on the baseline drive, can't get the go. Put back. Good job there. Following his own miss was Franco. Talk about the young man that was here just 2 minutes ago during the halftime, Jack DeGroot.
Yeah, Jack DeGroot, who was just an outstanding player. Let's see how many points he's got. 1,159 points in his high school career. Went on to play and have a really successful career at Marywood University, which ironically is the same school that Brendan Franco plays at now. And Jack, you know, you had mentioned this before. Jack was always extremely well-spoken in interviews afterwards, and just really all the way around a first-class kid. And he came over and said hello to us. It was really great to see him.
He's now a county commissioner.
That's right.
The youngest one. I don't know ever, but it's got to be close. Nice drive with the take. Franco.
And he's got to be, if I'm doing my math correctly, he's still got to be 23, 24 years old, tops, if he graduated in 2017.
Right.
You know, so that's a pretty impressive accomplishment for a young man.
And I know we did a year, like an internship down in Washington, D.C., I believe.
Okay.
So, yeah, all that together, and that's pretty cool. And if you think about High Point, you figure you got Jack DeGroot. And before that, we had a congressman, Scott Garrett, went here.
Right, right.
You know, so High Point,
they're cranking them out.
Cranking out the politicos. But this has been all High Point tonight, baskets-wise. Brian, what's new with BT basketball?
Oh, that's a great question, Dan. We got a lot of cool stuff happening. We actually have this coming Monday, which is Martin Luther King Day. We've got a mini camp from literally second graders all the way up through high school kids that are around and don't have practice. You can reach out to, well, you can really just check us out at BrianThomasBasketball.com. We got all the information on there for Monday's clinic. And we even have our spring AAU tryouts are already set on February 4th and February 11th, so you can go ahead and register for that as well.
And all that can be found on your website and social media and all that good stuff?
Yes, sir. BrianThomasBasketball.com. You could also find us on Instagram and on Facebook.
Dominic Buff, senior, just checked in, number 34 for Kittatinny. Trying to get the loose ball. Franco puts on the brakes.
And you figure in the fourth quarter, if it stays at this, 30-point margin, Coach Strell will likely get a lot of his starters out, maybe get some of the bench players to come on in and play. So we'll have to see how that develops as well.
56-21, under 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter. All High Point. Checking back in for the Wildcats will be A.J. Hamilton. Franco will head off. And coming in for Kittatinny, Tyler Chodak, number 30.
Well, Dan, High Point already plays a lot of kids. I mean, they play 8 kids consistently. They got 10 on the roster currently, but I mean, these 8 kids have played fairly even minutes, to be honest with you, tonight.
Sal Lombardo checking in 2 for Kittatinny. Long 3 and knocking it down a much needed hoop for the Cougars. That's Tyler Chodak.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but is that their first 3 of the game they hit, Dan?
I will check my score sheet, and I think you are correct. But they only came in and back to
There's
back.
another one.
They came into this game with only 3 total on the season. Excuse me, 30 total on the season.
Well, it's crazy because nowadays, you know, I got a few of my uncles are listening in from all across the country who played at St. Benedict's back in the day. And, you know, back in the day, of course, there was no three-point line. But imagine hitting 33s back in the 1960s. I mean, it was unheard of, you know, even from that distance. So 30 is a low number now, to your point, whereas even, you know, a few decades ago, that would have been a huge number.
Well, foul on the Cougars going to line to be Junta. There's a three-point line. Bill Bradley, Dave DeBuscher from those Nick teams.
Well, think about Pete Maravich.
Oh, well.
He averaged, I think it was 42. It was 44 a game in college without a three-point line. Like, are you kidding me?
That's because his dad let him shoot. that was the first daddy ball was Press Maravich and Pete Maravich.
Hey, you still got to put the ball in the basket,
oh,
right?
Absolutely. 57, 27 our score. Is there a better nick or a real name for a basketball coach than Krhs?
No, absolutely not.
And you know, Brian, I'm a lot older than you, but we're showing our age. Kids are home like, who's Pete Maravich?
And certainly, who's Press Maravich?
So that's why I'm old. I know the dad's name. Good hands. I really like Muller's game. He's really active.
Yeah, he's long. He's athletic. He's done a great job defensively tonight. And then, of course, in the first half, I mean, he hit a couple threes, a couple jump shots, and looked to attack the basket really well.
Cougars with 1:24 to go on the inbounds. Out of the corner, again rolls in. So a good job there, and that's Tyler Chodak who's come in off the bench and knocked down some threes.
His second 3 in the last couple of minutes.
57-30 our score. Smart, no need to check it up right there.
Yes, without a doubt. And they've done a nice job, especially, I mean, there's still a minute left, but at the end of the first quarter and the second quarter, they did a really nice job of being disciplined and getting the last shot. Teams talk about getting the last shot all the time, but then they shoot it at 12.
Right.
You know, it's like, that's not the last shot.
Nice take by Junta.
He's had a nice, solid game. And a lot of High Point success is based on Jacob as a point general, you know, just controlling the pace of the game. And he's done a nice job of that tonight.
One shot here for Coach Strell. Coach Strell's dad, Bob, was an outstanding coach at Sussex Tech back in the day. I always talk with Jesse when we always go down memory lane when he had the Adams family, Adam Walton, Kyle Adams.
Right.
And
that's
Brad
right.
Smolin and Kyle Pochak when they made that run. I think you did the game with me when they upset the team here.
Yep.
And from the corner, no good. Good if it goes with 4 left. Can't get that to go. Put back for Willis, and the buzzer will sound. But no danger of High Point losing that lead as they're up 59-30. As we'll be back with the fourth quarter here on the Brian Thomas YouTube channel. All right, we're back here at High Point High School on the Brian Thomas YouTube channel. Dan Cleary along with Brian Thomas. It's a fundraiser night for Brandon Bork, #1 fan for Kid City. Kid City struggling right now. They trail 59-30. I'll bring in my buddy Brian. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely check out Brandon's House on Facebook. It's the Brandon's House Facebook page where you can go and donate to an incredibly worthy cause. We're excited to have Brandon here tonight. Once again, thanks to Unique Concrete. You can check them out also on Facebook at Unique Concrete New Jersey, or you can check out their website, which is uniqueconcretenewjersey.com. And of course, big shout out to Dolan and Roger Thomas. Give them a call at 973-383-1600.
Hamilton with the 3. I'll show my age again. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. All right, yep. Hamilton.
There you go.
And a nice dive to the basket and a bucket for the Cougars, Michael Strong. So 30-point lead. And if you're the Cougars, you want to win the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
you know you're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
Win the fourth quarter and get better from the next game.
Yeah, at least have something to build on, something to talk about when you're watching the film. Certain things that you can obviously do better, but hey, you can say, okay, fourth quarter we didn't lay down, we had a lot of effort, and those are the little things that you can really build on.
And taking it to the hoop and drawing the fouls, Michael Strong. And again, we said at the top of the broadcast, Mike Lupo, you don't play hard, you're sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Mike was a hard-nosed player, played back for Newton, played for John Davey back in the day. And he's just ecstatic about being back as the head coach. And when he left Kittatinny, coached at Wallkill for a little bit, was at Mount Olive. It's funny, you look at the coaches that have been at Mount Olive with the Sussex County connections. You had Al Blanchard there for a while.
Yep.
And laying it in, and Michael Tobin.
That's right. But you're right, though, in talking to Coach Lupo before the game, and I didn't realize that he had never stopped teaching at Kittatinny.
Right, he's been in the building.
Yeah, for 21 years now, which is crazy. But you're right, you could tell just in speaking to him that he was incredibly excited to be back on the bench. And it just makes it so much easier when you're actually in the building, as you know. You know, you're not driving all the way back and forth. You can see the
Mount
kids.
Olive, that's not an easy drive.
That's exactly right.
And he's a great guy, Mike. Always wonderful to deal with. And we're lucky, Brian. All the coaches up here in Sussex County are all great to deal with.
I just feel bad that they have to deal with us.
Well, me, not you.
Oh, come on
They
now.
like you.
Come on now.
Trying to work it inside. Steal there. Dylan Jenkins has checked in for High Point as we're seeing some different people coming in for Coach Jesse Stroh. Hey, congratulations to assistant Bill Percy, going to be the head coach again of the football squad.
Excellent.
Here at High Point. Bill's a great guy. Catch and shoot 3, no good. And Bill's father-in-law, a legend, passed away a few years ago, Rich Finken. Longtime coach at Apacon. Back then, basketball in Sussex County was just Franklin. Franklin High School. Now I'm going real old. People are like, what's that?
Yeah, yeah.
Where kids, Wallkill Valley would have been considered Franklin. And then they opened up Apacon High School. Coach Finken was the first coach. Came out of Clifton. Learned basketball, he told me, from him and Freddie Gefkin were learning together as young guys. Gefkin looked at him as a mentor. And he did some great things with Apacon, and they were good right away. And our friend Jimmy Tobin was on the first team that Apacon had. And then Dennis came and did what he did.
Right.
So Richie Finken passed away not too long ago, within the last year or two. So definitely missed. After he gave up Apacon, he coached at Vernon as assistant with Matt Ferguson. He was at County College. Just a legend.
Yeah, he was still there when I was playing against Apacon. So I remember playing against him very well, against those teams down there. When the big gym was not built yet, it was that tiny little gym. Yeah,
which is named after Rich now.
With just the bleachers on the one side, of course.
That was a game there in the early 80s. Vernon and Apacon were big rivals, and it was a big brawl. And everyone was on top of each other because there was no separation of the fans.
There's no room.
No.
The old wooden bleachers.
Yes, indeed. And when they opened that big, beautiful gym, which is now almost coming up on 30 years.
Wow.
Finken made a phone call to his friend Bob Hurley, and they opened it up with a game against St. Anthony's.
That's amazing. I did not know that.
I was there for that. And knocking it down, is Kyle Morsel. I love his game.
Yeah, he's had a good, solid game tonight. Has not turned the ball over, hit some timely buckets, and defended the ball really well.
Yeah, he called up Hurley, and Hurley said, if you give me some of the gate, because we have no money at Jersey City. And a three knocked down by Kittatinny. And with that three is Hunter Tebow. And they worked it out. And it was a packed house. And Packon was about a 500 team, and St. Anthony's was very kind to them. They won the game, but didn't embarrass them.
Yeah.
Say a lot about Bob Hurley, but he was always, at least in all my dealings with him, he's always been a class guy.
St. Anthony has a lot of experience in those types of games in the 80s and 90s of being able to beat somebody by 70, but instead only beating them by 35 or 40.
But you better play defense.
Yeah, no doubt.
Going to the line for Kittatinny, Michael Strong. Imagine a high school backcourt, and we're being old now again, folks, of David Rivers,
who went to Notre Dame,
and Kenny Wilson, who went to Villanova.
Yeah.
That was their high school backcourt.
Not terrible.
And that was before Bobby Hurley,
right.
Terry DeHare, and
Rashawn McLeod. I mean, like all these different guys. It was
Jerry
crazy.
Walker.
Yeah. You're literally talking about high school teams that could, when they were seniors, a number of those different teams could literally beat college teams.
Absolutely.
Like they were that good at that time.
Look at that list over there, 1,000-point scorers for both High Point girls and boys. Mike Wachowski, Darren Patlin, I remember playing against him in football. Ray Hughes was terrific. That was that 85 team. That was very good. Coach Charlie Kyer had a very good team. Nice drive to the basket, can't get it to go. Rebound, put back off the glass, and a basket there for Colin Tennant.
Colin's had a nice game. He's not going to score a lot of points for you in the current construction of this High Point team. But if he can defend, he had his work cut out for him against Connor Logan tonight and did a decent job of it, using his body. And he's going to be a big piece going forward because the one thing that High Point doesn't have a lot of at all is size.
Right.
And Colin's a big, strong kid and knows how to use his body well, so they're going to need him going forward.
Looking at that list, Shannon Sweeney, we talked about him. Vic Moncano, maybe the greatest athlete to come out of this building.
Right.
Eric Caton, I remember Eric, they were about a 500 team then, but he could score. And Jack DeGroot, we just were talking to, and Brandon Franco, so quite a list. We'll have a foul on the Wildcats. Going to the line will be Luke Kramer. And then we could talk for hours about the girls' team.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and then if you look over there, between April Peterson, Maddie Smith, and Margot Peterson, they had that run for it was a 10-year run overall, but was specifically with them for 4 years or 4 or 5 years was just outstanding. I mean, Margot with 1,968 points. I mean, a couple of Division I players right there, and April Peterson was an outstanding player in her own right.
April went to Stockton,
right.
Margot to Siena.
Correct.
Maddie Smith, Holy Cross. What a run. Chris Dexter, over 300 wins, 350 wins.
Yeah.
Jessie Lane, Lauren Boyle, and her sister, Kate, I believe that's, and they kind of started when Chris was a young coach.
Right.
And Leanna Talame, she was our player of the year back when I was working for Muggs Media. Nice move inside, can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by the Cougars, 2:45 to go. They finally get over the hump and get to a final. You run into the machine known as Manasquan.
That's right. A couple years in a row we went down there.
Well, the Mabry sisters going to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So High Point's got a good basketball tradition both on the boys and girls. And we talked about Charlie Kyer. And it's all started, again, showing my age again, folks. Joe Ash was the coach here.
Joe Ash.
Ended up being a coach with the Rockets, got himself a World Championship ring along with Chris Gent.
How about that? Yeah, 1995.
Mm-hmm. Beat the Knicks.
Sure did. Beat the Phoenix Suns before that. I remember watching the game, and all of a sudden Chris Gent was in the game, and he was guarding Charles Barkley.
Yes.
We were like, holy smokes.
We're not at Ungerman anymore.
That's right. Ended up seeing he came back home in that summer and ended up, just playing pickup at the Sparta High School gym, and he happened to have the ring with him.
Right.
And, you've never seen anything like that in person in your life, so that was an interesting moment.
Dominic Buff will go to the line. He'll shoot a couple of free throws, misses the first. Joe Ash lived in Vernon. His son was a great basketball player at Vernon. Led Vernon to was one of many players that helped them win the '79 SEIL title. Coached to William Patterson. So Joe, an amazing basketball guy, started here at High Point.
Heck of a performance by the High Point Wildcats
Yes,
tonight, huh,
indeed.
Dan? I mean, that first quarter, it was right on. I think it was 9-2 out of the gate. So they didn't waste any time at all, and they just built on that momentum and never looked back.
A little dry, but a little extra steppage there. I'll just made up a new word, steppage. Miguel Gonzalez has checked in, just a freshman. Yeah, Coach Strell's going to be like, all right, let me bottle that first quarter.
Yeah, oh my goodness, of course.
And that's where it all started. They had the 26-9 lead. And really never looked back. So these guys will get back. League play gets back into earn. Well, it really doesn't die down, as we talked about the seasons being shortened. I mean, this is a...
Yeah, you're in the teeth of it now.
Yeah, this is it in the sprint to the second week of February when the regular season ends now.
For sure.
HWS seeding will be coming up soon. It's a blink of an eye. It used to be the winter season was a marathon.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Again, we want to thank Chris Dexter for helping to put this together tonight and donating all ticket sales to Brandon's house. Very fortunate. Amazing gesture. And once again, thanks to Dolan and Dolan. Check them out. Give them a call, 973-383-1600 and uniqueconcretenewjersey.com.
Dylan Jenkins with the hoop. Yeah, I want to thank everyone here at High Point. Always a pleasure coming here. Superintendent Scott Ripley. John Talamay, who was on that 95 championship team with Dexter. It was Dexter, Talamay, Matt Sweeney,
Kevin Cleary,
and Greg Field, and Matt Millett came off the bench.
There you go.
I think he only won 6.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Up and under, no good. And after the game, Brian Thomas will have some interviews he'll post on his social media and YouTube page, so stay tuned for that, folks.
Yes, sir.
And going to the line for Kittatinny, number 25, Vinny Falchetta. Vinny played for Joe Catelli. What a finish to the football season for the Cougars, winning their regional tournament. They got off to a slow start in football, finished strong, did what they had to do, win that tournament. So they're going to be excited for next year, football-wise.
Be interesting to watch this High Point team going forward. Can they build on this momentum? They had a couple tough losses that we talked about over the holiday week. And can they build on this? You know, you're not going to shoot as well as they shot every game, but can they take a lot of the other dynamics that they did and really start to have some momentum for this 2024 season?
All right, so 10 seconds to go. They're going to hold on to it. So High Point will post a league win 69-40. High Point will improve to 6-3 overall, 4-0 in the Colonial. Continue to fall to 2-7, 1-3 in the Colonial. And that'll wrap it up. So, Brian, great job. Good seeing you again, buddy.
You too, sir.
And again, Brian will have interviews and stuff like that. We'll be on the YouTube channel, and he'll post it on his social media. But our game coverage is coming to an end. I want to thank everyone for helping us out. Good night, everyone. I'm Dan Cleary. Have a great week.
Good. All right, very excited to be here with Brandon. Can you please tell us how it felt to have the community come out and support you tonight, both High Point and Kittatinny coming together to support Brandon's house?
I had a good time today with all my friends and family here, and I'm happy to have. Today I had a barnyard fundraiser today. My friend Joe Fitz was here with me, support them on, and I had a good time at the barnyard, and still #1 fan for almost 17 years in high school. And hopefully our boys step it up. Hopefully next week, maybe not, but we'll see. The girls hopefully beat Newton today too, and hopefully our wrestling team beat High Point tomorrow night, and we'll hopefully be 11-1.
#1 fan indeed. We're happy you made it out here tonight,
Thank
Brandon.
you, guys.
See you soon, buddy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That was gonna be one to be on TV probably.
Come on, we'll get you both
Together? Oh,
yeah.
Why you don't stand
Get
up?
your boy. Right here, Jacob. Jacob, we are live right now, buddy, so we are on. Yeah, we are on. Fellas, we're here with Jacob Ginta and Braden Franco. Congratulations on a great game, fellas. Jacob, tell us, you really got the team off to a great start tonight, hit a couple big buckets. You guys went up 9-2, and then tell us how that momentum kind of carried you from there for the rest of the game.
Well, I feel like that's how it is with every game with us. We're a very energetic team, and when we come out hot, that's how we start to play the whole game. Usually when we come out slow, it affects us the whole game, at least until halftime. But when we get going early, we really push it hard, and we ended up doing really good every time we do good early. And yeah.
Without a doubt. So we talked about at the top of the game that if you guys come out and shoot the basketball well, you guys are really tough to beat, and you guys did that tonight. But what happens when you guys are not shooting the ball well? Like if you're having an off night, maybe Noah's having an off night, maybe Jacob's not shooting the ball great. What did you guys see tonight that you can do, that you can build some momentum going forward if you're not shooting the ball really, really well?
Well, I mean, it really comes down to attacking the basket. Like, our shots were off. If you attack the rim, you get fouled. Free throws, you get in the rhythm, and you can start feeling your shot a little bit more. Maybe you'll get it going.
Outstanding. So hopefully you guys can build on this momentum here tonight and really put the foot down on the gas and really keep on cranking January, February. Congratulations, fellas. Great game. Nice job. All right, congratulations to the High Point Wildcats on their big victory tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting Brandon's house. We're very excited to be part of that initiative and fundraiser. Check out the BT Broadcasting YouTube channel, which you're on right now. We'll be back for a lot more games, and check out BrianThomasBasketball.com. Have a great night.